Okay. So civilians are not allowed to use light weapons.
Okay.
You know, like I told you, light weapons is operated by 2 or more people. So usually it's used by the security agencies. So in our laws, no civilian is allowed to use light weapons. Now let's come to the small arms. So the framers of our law, you know, of course, had a lot of wisdom, and they realized that you cannot allow civilians to possess every type of weapon. You can imagine the chaos and the confusion that it will bring. So when you go to America, for example, you hear somebody can just go to a school and sprays about 30 people. He kills them. Recently, I don't know if you heard about, less than a month ago, that a father bought a rifle for a daughter who is it 14 years or less as a birthday gift.
Okay.
And then the next day or so, she goes to, is it her school or another school, and kills about 9 children or so. Right? But we also hear of even grown-ups people who just go to where people are and they'll be spraying and they'll kill people. We cannot live in a society like this. It is a major problem for America that they have tried to deal, but they have not succeeded. You know, other government, I think Obama's government made an attempt to see how they can, you know, address that. And the citizens are not collaborating, or are not, they don't understand. They think that is their right. You know, in Ghana, possessing a weapon is not a right. It's a privilege.
Okay.
In the US, it's a right. So when they said that they were going to bring regulations to restrict some people from having access to weapons, they said, no, you can't take that right from us. In Ghana, it's not a right. Per the law, it's a privilege.
Okay.
And we know privileges also come with what? Responsibilities. So in Ghana, like I said, we are not allowed to possess every type of weapon. No. So we are allowed to possess what we call shotguns. And an example is the pump action gun. We have the single barrel, the double barrel. We have the pump action I've mentioned already. We have the cap gun, what we normally call the tear buffet those days, that uses gunpowder. You know, they are shotguns, and these are the ones that civilians are allowed to use. And when it comes to the small ones, what others call side arms, we call it arms of precision. We have the pistol and the revolver. And the pistol cannot also be automatic, because automatic is self-loading. So at one go, you spray like that. We don't want civilians to have that kind of powerful weapons where they can cause confusion in the country. So apart from these, all the rest are left for security agencies. So the AK-47 submachine gun, the G3 rifle, they are all, and all the automatic pistols, they are left for the use of the security agencies for our own protection.
Okay.
But for civilians, we are limited. So those are the weapons that civilians are allowed to use in the country.
Okay.
And the law, per the law, I've mentioned earlier, but per the law, it's either you want to use it for hunting, or you want to use it to protect a valuable property.
Okay.
Valuable property, or you want to use it for self-protection. So these are the 3 reasons why the law will allow you to possess a weapon. And the law also has spelled out certain requirements that every Ghanaian who intends to possess a weapon must meet. So before you apply, and we don't handle, when it comes to licensing and all, it's not the commission, it's the police.
Okay.
They have what we call the firearms registry, or the firearms unit. So when you go to every police district, they are there. So they give out the permit to go and buy from the dealer, like I was explaining earlier. Then after you bought it, you bring it back to them to register the weapon in your name, and then give you the license to possess.
Okay.
Then they will give you the license to possess. So it's basically the police that sees to the shotguns. When it comes to the small ones, the pistol and the revolver, that one you write directly to the Minister for the Interior and explain why you think you need a weapon and all that. Then they will take you through a certain process. First of all, I was talking about the requirements. So the law has spelled out the requirements. You should be 80 years and above.
Okay.
You should be mentally stable.
Okay.
Because we all know someone who is not mentally stable with a gun, we know what the person
Yeah.
can do. The person should not be someone who has any criminal record.
Records, okay.
They will check those things. Then you should also be able to demonstrate that you have the means
To
to
protect
procure,
it.
the means to purchase.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just anybody who can walk and say, oh, I need to. Because the weapons are, the pump action alone, for example, is 12,000 plus. The pistol, you may spend about 15,000 plus. So to come and say, I need to buy a pistol, for example, it means you should be somebody who has some good job that you are doing, you are capable. It should make sense. So they look at all these things. And then you should also be able to, you should have a safe place where you can keep the weapon under lock and key, so that no other person, especially your children, can have access to the weapon. And all these things have been put in place for the good of the applicant themselves.
Okay.
But some people don't know. It is for their own good. Because if you buy the weapon and you leave it anywhere at all, and your child have access to them, sometimes we hear accidental shooting. Some children have killed their siblings. Because some parents also like to buy toy guns for their children. And we are preaching against it. It doesn't help. So as a child, he has a toy gun which has some water. And hey, I'll kill you. And it's water that is coming out. So as he grows, he thinks that, oh, the gun does not kill. So he finds the father's gun with live ammunition. And normally they also load it and it's there. And he thinks that, oh, it's just like the toy guns that we play with. Before you realize, he has shot and killed somebody. So the law is said that it is supposed to even protect the applicants, people who, have access to them.